with no further ado, I would like to introduce you to Matthew Kissner, president of Wiley Publishing Company. Anybody here familiar with Wiley? I'm sure 90% seen the books. Fantastic, Matthew. Thank you for coming.
It's great that so many of you have heard of Wiley. It's not exactly a household name. Many of you know us through our college textbooks, but also we have the Dummies brand, which is kind of a fun brand. But I thought I'd share with you a little bit about how a 217-year-old company is leaning into the AI age, which is quite an interesting story. There aren't that many companies in the U.S. that have been around 217 years. And Wiley started as a little print shop in Lower Manhattan in 1807. So think about who was president then. Was that Thomas Jefferson? Think about that. Think about that. And yet we've gone through so much transformation in 217 years. I want to share with you how we're thinking about AI. But first, a little bit about Wiley, give you a little color on who we are, and then I want to talk about our social impact, and then I'll share how we're leaning into AI. How does that sound? So we're really at the center of the creation of knowledge globally. It's a privileged position. It's one we really are honored to be at, and we're very mission-driven. People that come to Wiley really identify with the fact that we're doing good in the world. Everything we do actually improves the quality of life for people around the world. It's quite a global business. Let me share a little bit about, whoops, I went too far, sorry. Oh, my slides are a little out of order here. Let me share a little bit about our businesses. So although we're known for the textbook business, our main business, the kind of the real earnings engine, is scientific research. So we are the largest scientific research publisher in the U.S., about third largest in the world. We publish over 2,000 journals. Each year, we get 1 million articles submitted to us globally. And we manage the curation process, the evaluation of those articles, matching those articles with the right journals that they should be published in. Quality and integrity is key to what we do. We publish, interestingly, of those 1 million that are presented to us, we published about a third. So we have very, very high quality standards. And Wiley's, I'd say, major domains, if you might think of it that way, where we really have a strong global presence in chemistry, materials science, that's battery technology, for example, oncology, engineering, technology, and agriculture. But research is 2/3 of our revenue and the core driver for us. The learning segment is it's kind of our historical business. That's our book publishing business, largely digital. By the way, the research business today is very highly digital. I'd say it's 90% digital. Even the book business, and we were talking about how many people still love paper, it's about 60% digital today and definitely headed that way. A little bit about our financial characteristics. We're very conservatively managed, and we take a lot of pride in our balance sheet strength and cash generation. So 80% of our total revenue is from digital content and services. And importantly, over half of that is recurring revenue, which, as you know, is so critical. And we're actually, here's an interesting statistic, we're one of the only, or very few, small cap stocks that has increased its dividend for 31 years. And very, very global. Roughly, size-wise, we're $1.6 billion in revenue. Not a huge company, 5,200 employees. But research, if you think about science, it's a global phenomenon. And the largest source of science today, scientific articles, is China. Because Basically, our business parallels R&D flows. These are a little out of order, so we'll make do with them. A little bit about social impact. Something, again, being so mission-driven, we take quite seriously. And we think about it in two components. First of all, the quality of our content and the fields in which we're in have a direct social impact. So when you think about researchers and innovators and governments using our content to solve some of the big social problems in the world, we view that as a critical enabler. And I'll give you an example. During COVID, we took our COVID-related research and made it freely available globally so we could accelerate the work underway to get us out of that situation. So that's kind of our direct impact. And now as a company, we're quite committed to be net zero by 2040. 80% of our business is digital, and we're continuing to move in that direction. And we've been quite recognized for our impact, low sustainability risk, and very high levels of disclosure. So that's kind of who we are. Let's talk about AI, because I know that's what you're really interested in. And we think about it in three buckets. We think about colleague productivity, and this will connect with the previous speaker in a very interesting way. So colleague productivity, how can we make their jobs easier? We think about it in terms of innovation, in terms of our internal processes, and I'm going to go into each of these in a little bit of detail. And finally, how do we use our content to improve the quality of AI models? So let me drill into these. Colleague productivity is the fun one, because we believe that we want to put these tools in the hands of colleagues, just like they use Microsoft Word and Excel today, and make this another desktop business tool to help them minimize the low value-added work and maximize their time on the quality work. And if you think about our business, which is really processing a lot of information, you can see how well-suited AI is for that. We also don't believe there's a one-tool solution. And so what we're going to do is make a menu of AI tools available, and the colleague gets to pick the tool that suits the kind of work they do. So if you're an editor, there may be one kind of an AI tool you use. If you're a financial analyst, it could be a very different one. But importantly, we have not set savings goals or headcount reduction goals associated with this. We want to learn and see what happens and kind of set this free. We have a very educated population. We have more PhDs running around than I've seen anyway. So we just want to equip them with a stronger toolkit and see how they can apply it to make their jobs easier. And we're going to watch the results and learn from it. Second is publishing innovation. Something that I am very interested in is cycle time. It takes us a long time because of the way the industry works to publish material. So it can take, for example, 180 days to publish a scientific article. An advanced textbook can take 3 years to publish. And I am very interested in how we can apply AI to reduce cycle times. And secondly, to make the author experience, the authors who are interacting with us, a richer, more rewarding experience. And we're experimenting with AI in those various areas. Another interesting place we're experimenting with is something called research integrity. The industry, you may have read that the industry is challenged by fraudulent papers being written, research fraud. So we are using AI tools to assist editors in identifying papers that are suspect and that will require an additional level of review. And we want to do that without increasing cycle time, right? Final area is licensing. And we were one of the early adopters of licensing our content. Why do LLM model builders like our content? Well, one, it's correct, it's true, it's fact. Two, it's organized in a way that's very digestible, right? It's indexed, there's chapters. And by the way, the early interest was in books, not in scientific research. But we have done 2 projects with model builders. And we believe that, one, it's a very interesting new application for our content. And it aligns with our mission because to the extent that these AI models are founded on correct content, those models are stronger. You know, we really debated this internally. But it's not, AI is a little bit like a wave coming at you. You can't stop it. So what we said is, one, how can we learn? And how can we try to influence it in a positive way? Given that we're not huge, but we do have very valued content. And so we are participating in the development of these LLM models. And interestingly, where we see that evolving is corporations are starting to develop specialized models kind of tuned for their field. So pharmaceutical companies, healthcare providers, chemical companies, and many others are using our content to take a general model and fine-tune it for use in their domain. Those are called vertical specific models. Now, the jury's out as to whether they will outperform the big LLM models, but we are very interested in seeing whether that evolves and whether we can play an ongoing role, because we have the most current information in those fields. It's coming through in the scientific research. It's important to note, AI is like the Wild West today. Nobody knows where this is going to go. It's a very volatile market, changing weekly. And our philosophy, which is kind of interesting for a 217-year-old company, is rather than resist it, get into the water and learn and adapt. You know, I have worked in other industries where there are players who did not do that, and those players are not here today. And I think that's what got Wiley through 217 years. When you think about the change in terms of the Industrial Revolution, the information revolution, one of our, I think, qualities is that ability to adapt. Now, what about kind of principles, how we think about licensing? You know, where is the author in all of this? And first of all, licensing is not new to publishing. So we've been licensing content forever. For example, we don't publish I think we publish a little bit of German, but we really don't publish in any other foreign languages. So what we've always done is sold those rights, those translation rights. So we understand how to manage that kind of intellectual property. It's something that's always been a characteristic of kind of our role in the information change. But we believe that the rights of authors and copyright holders must be protected. And they must share in the economic benefit from these AI model training transactions that we are doing. So they should receive fair compensation, consistent with the contract that they have with us. And we want to be a valuated partner. Almost think about us as kind of an intermediary at the intersection of authors and academic societies and the AI model builders, where we can help make sure that the transactions are done in a way that's fair to all the parties involved. Again, this is all recent learning, probably over the last year. So, where are we? think about us, 200 years, we've been kind of at the center, being in science, you know, at the center of many kinds of revolutions. We're probably in the midst of one now with AI, and we're not shying away from it. We really believe our high-quality content, data, and solutions will play an important role here, and we're approaching it not haphazardly, with a lot of thought and planning, but we're not resisting it. It's something that we're leaning into, and we do believe that we play a role in the social good, and are very committed to the UN sustainability goals. And finally, when you look at us, you know, these are essential markets. If you're thinking about us as an investor, you know, the fields we play in that I mentioned, chemistry, materials science, oncology, agriculture, these fields are not going away. And we benefit from global R&D. That's the key driver in our business, because how do you measure scientific processes? It's actually through the communication process that goes on around it. And so we have a wide moat, and we believe we have a winning strategy. Thank you for this opportunity. I really enjoyed it.